We have this from the Daily Mail. Chicago's progressive Democrat Mayor Brandon Johnson unveils plans to spend another $70 million of taxpayer cash on 38,000, I love how they say migrants, criminal aliens who've arrived in the city on top of the $150 million already set aside for 2024. This is where your tax dollars are going, ladies and gentlemen. And I want all of the Gen Z people to share this. And if you know anybody who's Gen Z, share it with them. And say, I don't care what you think. I don't care if you like them or don't like them. But don't complain about why you can't afford things while you support Democrats dumping your money into non-citizens. You got a dude who's 30 years old from Honduras. He's coming here and he's taking your inheritance away from you. So for all these Gen Z people who are like, you know, where's my piece of the pie? Where's my American dream? Well, Democrats gave it away. Yep. They gave it away to people who aren't from here. So there it is, right there for you. Keep voting for it, I guess.
And who broke the laws. Their first act as far as arriving in this country was to break the law. And it's not just, I mean, Chicago, you might expect some craziness from Chicago. This guy's a self-identified socialist or communist or something, the new mayor. But the governor of Michigan, which you would think might be a little bit more mainstream than the mayor of Chicago, offering $500 a month housing subsidies to people who let illegal aliens stay in their house or stay in their apartments if they own apartments or things. $500 subsidies to actually encourage more. It's more of the same policies of the kind that Biden has been doing. He campaigned on doing this. He promised as a candidate, because if you remember the 2019-2020 Democrat sweepstakes, those primaries, where there was like 15 of them, and it was a race to see who could get further to the left on all kinds of things, including immigration, and who was going to be friendliest and let the most illegal immigrants. Biden promised that he was going to suspend deportations, not going to deport anybody anymore at all. He had a pathway to citizenship, which he called it. It's actually amnesty. He was going to give everybody free health care, allow them to legally enter the workforce, even though they were illegally present in this country. He said he was going to do all these things. People showed up at our southern border, illegal immigrants, illegal aliens showing up at the southern border wearing Biden t-shirts, telling reporters we came because Joe Biden said he wouldn't kick us out. And this is what you get. And it's continuing. And then he has the nerve to say it's the Republicans in Congress' fault for not having passed the stupid bill, which was not a border bill at all, but was in fact a Ukraine aid bill dressed up as a border bill.
It was like $70 million to Ukraine, or what? $70 billion?
$70 billion,
and then $1.6 billion to the border, like $10 billion.
Enormously lopsided to give Ukraine money versus what the name of the bill was. It was supposed to be a border security bill.
Well, Ukraine's border security.
Yeah, Ukraine's border security. We love protecting Ukraine's border.
Technically another border. It is a border bill. It's just a bunch of different countries.
Not ours. Just not ours. And you know, it's just the media, of course, lets him get away with it again. And when he says, "Oh, if the House Republicans," it's the House Republicans' fault that you campaigned on being the best friend that any illegal immigrant ever had. Right. That's Speaker Johnson's fault.
I got to clarify something you said earlier. You said the governor of Michigan, which is Gretchen Whitmer, is giving
$500 a month
to landlords, anyone that hosts an illegal immigrant.
It's a subsidy. $500. It's a subsidy. Well, they would ultimately be receiving the money. I'm not exactly sure how
they're going to get it.
Whether the illegal alien gets the $500 and it's then passed on to the landlord, or whether it's a voucher and then the state pays the landlord directly. I don't know.
But you're
it's
saying
a state program.
The taxpayers are the ones paying this.
Yes. Yeah.
So the community is being forced to pay people to host illegal immigrants which will then disrupt their community.
Correct.
And or displace the workforce in their community. So that's interesting.
And that's on top of the strain that it puts on schools, for example, and school classroom overcrowding, emergency services, police, hospital emergency rooms. I mean, I used to work for a member of Congress named Lou Barletta from Hazleton, Pennsylvania, and you wouldn't think that Hazleton, PA would have a big illegal immigration problem, but they did. And the emergency room, the wait time at the emergency room went from like, half an hour to 9 hours average wait time at the emergency room, because that's what the illegal alien population was using as primary health care. They just go to the emergency room. And it tied it all up. And, their English as a second language budget in their public schools went from $500 to like $3 million in the space of 2 years.
Yeah, there are very serious consequences to the community.
It's not just the $500 of taxpayer money. It's everything. It's pervasive in the local economy. It strains everything. And they're not fully a part of the tax base. Yes, they pay sales tax because they buy things in stores, and sales tax, you can't escape sales tax, but they don't pay income tax.
Right.
They don't have legitimate Social Security numbers.
They're draining resources without contributing back to them.
Correct.
Denver was also trying to get landlords to rent their properties to.
Yeah.
They kept calling them like new residents or something. There's always a euphemism. That's what makes me crazy.
Right. Yes. New arrivals. This is what Michigan calls it. New arrivals, or no. I forget what they call it. If you Google it,
Newcomers?
Newcomers, maybe.
Newcomers, new neighbors.
It might be called the
Biden.
Newcomers Housing Subsidy Program. I think that's what they call it, the Newcomers Housing
Oh,
Subsidy.
wow. That is gross. That is dripping with nastiness.
Yeah.
New.
Because it's supposed to make you feel like if you're against it, you're a terrible person, right? When actually what they're saying is someone who is here in the middle of committing a crime, being in this country illegally, is someone that should get money over you. I remember this with Boston or Massachusetts. Massachusetts had to say to people who are like American families that are experiencing homelessness or women experiencing domestic violence who are trying to find shelter with their kids. Oh, well, the shelters are full because we have a lot of illegal immigrants right now. So we'll see you when we see you. You know, like I understand the idea that you should be charitable. On the other hand, if you're especially a tax-supported organization or a tax-supported resource, shouldn't you be supporting American families and American people first?
Yeah.
But instead, we're like, well, we can't close the border because then we would be admitting that Trump was right about something.
Charity, you're like central first. You're like, because charity is only like a portion of what you bring in, and if this is displacing your ability to bring anything in, then that's not charity. That's something other than charity. If it's being given to them against your will, you're not the one
if it harms
donating.
the community, right? Like communities suffer. This example of the emergency room is a great one. Communities suffer when we're saying suddenly a lot of people can be here and receive the resources that the rest of us pay into to contribute to. Like that was the point of taxes, right? They're going to tax you, but they're going to offer you a service.
Right.
And
you get something
instead-
in exchange for your taxes. These people are getting the something in exchange without paying the taxes. Right. This is from Michigan.gov. Here's a description of it. Many refugees and other newcomers. There you go. Refugees and other newcomers. That's the catch-all. That's the dangerous one. Face critical housing challenges, and this program will increase access to better and more affordable housing opportunities while supporting a more rapid social integration to refugees and other newcomer populations to Michigan.
The other newcomers is a reference to the murderers and rapists.
That's those. Yeah, right there.
This is the newcomer rental subsidy.
Right. And there's been, the murder at the University of Georgia, that girl who got killed while she was jogging, Laken Riley, that got a lot of the headlines, but a woman was just killed in Grand Rapids like 2 weeks ago by an illegal alien.
Someone commented on one of our videos, I think a couple weeks ago. They said, Tim had mentioned newcomers, and they were like, you guys don't ever call them newcomers, even in jest, because they want you to start doing that.
Yeah.
So just don't even consider. That is ridiculous.
No, we say criminal
concept.
alien.
Illegal, criminal.
Criminal alien is good.
Well, criminal alien is the legal term.
Criminal
that's
alien.
right.
Illegal immigrant is like, I don't know where that originates, but it's a softening of the legal term.
It's the word alien is all over the federal code.
Right.
That's the way the law is written.
And when they enter the country illegally, they have broken the law as criminals. They are criminal aliens.
Right.
That is the academic descriptive
that's
term
right.
for it.
You're right.
If I wanted to be mean, I could say a whole lot of other things.
Sure.
But we just say criminal alien. And then you get illegal immigrant, and then you get unauthorized. And websites like the Daily Mail, they say migrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, migrant. Another one I just heard the other day was differently qualified.
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. I always hated undocumented citizen. Like, you're
That's
not
the
a
big one that
citizen.
the left is pushing.
It's not. It's incorrect.
Right.
That's like a newcomer because they're trying to get that word citizen on the map.
Yep. They want to change the word so they can say undocumented citizen. And then in 20 years go, how is it that there are citizens of this country who aren't allowed to vote?
Right.
do
Yeah,
you mean?
well,
They're
they're already doing
undocumented-
it.
Right.
New York City Council wants people to be able to vote.
Yeah,
And-
they lost that one, though.
yeah, I know, but their desire is apparent.
They're doing it in California. In California.
It's insane.
Yep.
It's insane. Honestly, God,
Non-citizen
there's no other country on earth that would allow itself to not enforce its own borders. You can't be a country without enforcing your own border. Name another country on earth that would allow me to go there and vote in their elections.
Let's simplify it. How do you break it down? The definition of a nation. You want to look up the definition of nation?
Yeah.
And we'll break this down for everybody so they can understand in simple linguistic terms. What is the definition of nation?
Right. In a broad sense, this is the first definition. In a broad sense, a race of people, an aggregation of persons of the same ethnic family and speaking the same language or cognate languages. So that's interesting.
Now look up country.
In a narrower sense, a political society composed of a sovereign or government that subjects or subjects or citizens, and consulting a political unit and organized community inhabiting a certain extent of territory,
Right.
Ah,
So
there you
there's
go.
no territory.
Certain
the borders
extent.
are open.
within which its sovereignty is exercised.
And so you ask what country? Well, the answer is simple. We have no country. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.